Hello and welcome. Today, we're jumping headfirst into the world of beekeeping for a pretty epic showdown. In one corner, we've got the time-tested champion, the traditional Langstroth hive. This design has been the gold standard for over 150 years. And in the other corner, the revolutionary challenger, the flow hive, which absolutely exploded in popularity with its promise of honey on tap.
The flow hive just burst onto the scene with this idea that, honestly, seemed a little too good to be true. Pure, unprocessed honey flowing right out of your hive just by turning a key. No mess, no fuss. But the big question is, does this thing actually live up to the hype? Is it a true revolution in beekeeping, or is it just a really expensive gimmick? Well, that's what we're here to find out.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start by properly meeting our two contenders. Then we'll put them head-to-head on the harvest, the true cost, and the overall beekeeper experience before we deliver our final verdict. Let's get right into it.
Okay, first things first. Let's get a really clear picture of what we're actually comparing here. Because while they might look kind of similar from the outside, believe me, their core technology is fundamentally different.
Now here's something you got to understand right away. The flow hive isn't a completely new design from the ground up. It's actually a modified Langstroth. The bottom box, which is called the brood box, that's where the queen and the colony live, and it's pretty much identical in both. The real magic, the innovation, is all in the top box, the honey super. That's where you'll find those special flow frames. In a standard Langstroth, on the other hand, every box is just filled with simple, classic wooden frames.
All right, let's get to round one, the harvest. And honestly, this is the main event. This is the single biggest difference between these two hives, and it's the entire reason the flow hive was even invented in the first place.
So, harvesting the traditional way, it is a serious undertaking. It's a physically demanding, multi-step ordeal. You're lifting these super heavy boxes, and then you have to haul everything indoors for a very messy job that requires hot knives, big spinning extractors, and filtering. It's a ton of work, and it requires a lot of specialized and very, very sticky equipment.
And then you have the flow hive. The contrast could not be more stark. The whole process is just radically simple. You pop in the key, you give it a turn, and you literally watch the honey flow right into your jar. What's happening inside is the mechanism splits the honeycomb cells vertically, and that creates these little channels for the honey to just run down, all without you ever having to crack open the hive and bother the bees.
And this quote from the inventor, man, it just perfectly sums up why they even bothered to create this thing. The traditional method, as effective as it is, can be really stressful. You're opening the hive, the bees get super agitated, and it's just a very invasive process. The whole goal of the flow hive was to make it a gentler, more peaceful experience for everybody involved, bees included.
So yeah, the advantages here are pretty obvious. It's much calmer for the bees, and because you can harvest just a single frame at a time, you can actually taste the different flavors of nectar flows throughout the season. So one frame might be this light floral honey, and the very next one, filled just a few weeks later, could be dark and rich. That's a level of nuance that just gets totally lost when you're processing a bunch of frames from different hives all at once.
Okay, the flow hive harvest is slick, no doubt about it. But, you knew there was a but, right? All that convenience comes at a price. So let's move to round two and break down the true cost of getting started with each of these systems.
Right off the bat, the sticker shock for a flow hive is, well, it's real. One reviewer we looked at paid over $1,000 for his kit. That's a huge upfront investment, mainly because you're buying a complete, all-in-one system with some pretty clever patented technology inside.
But, and this is a big but, here's the twist. While a basic Langstroth hive is way cheaper to buy initially, it doesn't come with the harvesting equipment. And a key piece of that equipment, the centrifuge extractor, can easily cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars all on its own. So suddenly that cost gap doesn't look quite as wide as it did at first.
So this table really lays out the trade-offs nicely. With the flow hive, almost all your cost is upfront. With the Langstroth, the hive itself is cheap, but then you have to start factoring in all those hidden costs like the extractor. The real difference, though, shows up when you want to scale up. The Langstroth's modular design is just way more affordable if you think you might want to expand to have multiple hives, even though you'll definitely need more space to store all that extra gear.
Okay, harvest, check. Cost, check. Now for round three. What's it actually like to live with one of these hives day in and day out? Let's talk about the actual beekeeper experience.
And right away, we hit a surprising twist. You'd think the modern, super expensive kit would be a breeze to put together, right? Wrong. According to veteran beekeeper David Burns, it was the exact opposite. He said it was a total pain in the butt, and so time-consuming that it took him almost a month just working in short bursts. He was pretty sure that a total beginner would get incredibly frustrated with the vague instructions and just the sheer number of parts.
And the list of gripes didn't stop with the assembly. He also pointed out that the honey super, the heaviest part of the entire hive, doesn't have side handles, which makes it super awkward to lift off for inspections. He also raised some really valid concerns about the long-term durability of all those tiny, moving plastic parts inside the flow frames. How are they going to hold up after years of sun, cold, and getting gummed up with propolis? That's the sticky resin bees use like glue.
But on the flip side, when it comes to just daily interaction, the flow hive really shines. Those observation windows are an absolute game changer. You can literally watch the bees at work and check if the frames are full of honey without having to suit up and open the whole hive. The traditional Langstroth method is much more, physical. You have to physically lift the hive to guess how much it weighs. The flow hive also often includes a modern screened bottom board with a pest management tray, which is another little feature that just makes inspections a whole lot easier.
All right, we've looked at the harvest, the cost, the day-to-day experience. Each one has its definite pros and cons. So it's time to weigh it all up and deliver the final verdict.
So let's just boil it all down. The flow hive, it's a fantastic tool for the hobbyist who just wants a simple, gentle way to get small batches of honey. Its biggest strengths are that incredibly easy harvest and how little you have to disturb the bees. The weaknesses are its high cost, its complex assembly, and one key vulnerability we're about to get to. The Langstroth, on the other hand, it's still the workhorse. It's affordable, it's durable, it's scalable, but its harvest is a messy, labor-intensive affair.
And here is that key vulnerability I mentioned, and it's a big one: your climate. See, honey is thick, it's viscous, and for it to actually move through those little channels in the flow hive, it needs to be warm, around 75 degrees Fahrenheit or so. So if you live in a region with cool springs and autumns, your harvesting window could be really limited. With a Langstroth, you're physically spinning the honey out with a centrifuge, so temperature just doesn't matter. This makes it a far more reliable choice for beekeepers in cooler climates.
Ultimately, the choice really comes down to you. It's about asking yourself, which beekeeper are you? Are you a hobbyist with maybe 1 or 2 hives in a warm climate, and your top priority is convenience and a gentle experience? Or are you someone who's thinking about scaling up, who prioritizes affordability and reliability, and who frankly doesn't mind getting their hands a little sticky? There's no single right answer here, just the right hive for the right beekeeper.